Hello and welcome to Magical Realities, and my name is Steve Turgoose, and I'm making this video just as kind of an experiment for myself, and I've got the ability to replay this video and watch myself. That's the wonderful thing about this technology, that we can actually replay and gain a new consciousness of ourselves and of our surroundings. This video is really about perception, mainly, I guess, and the world and everything in it. It may be for you a tool, a strategy for your life, for unblocking parts of your life, enabling you to learn faster and learn better, enjoy life more. This is my aim, really. Is to use these tools, use these thoughts to improve my life and the lives of the people around me. So bear with me, because this is my secret attempt, and this video is only really intended for my own replay. So if you're watching it now, then you're an unauthorized personnel, so but that's okay. So what is a magical reality? Why magical realities? Well, that's going to take a lot of explanation, and that's what the whole of the video is really about. Let's take the first word, magical. Magical, to me, means a cause and effect that can't be seen or heard with the ordinary senses. That which is invisible to the senses, but still has a cause and effect. An example of this would be a spoken word. So much is in a spoken word, but I'll be getting into that. The first word, reality. This indicates a place of solidity, where we all perceive the same thing together. Indeed, we all perceive the world individually, as individuals, and we have a shared experience, a shared reality, but what each one of us actually sees and feels and senses from this reality is an individual experience, which means that you're not in the world. You are the world. You are the world. It's like bubbles connecting, and the points where your friends and your environment connect to your bubble, then it has an effect, but it still remains your world. I can only speak from my point of view, but my world is the only world that I live, unless I start zooming out of my body and going into some other different beings or something like that, which I don't do. So I see and hear my world as it is for me, which is it's a big burden, it's a big weight on the shoulders. It means that everything in my world is my garden, and I need to look after that like a garden. I need to care for it, care for the people like a child. Why? Many of you may be rational people. What I mean by that is that you know that you earn money to go to work to earn money, to buy food and to pay for the rent and to pay for electricity and health care, and to make this transaction energy between buying and selling this trade. So everything we do, everything that's got a cause and effect, is transformed into the money. And so our realities, our rational realities, that what we say is our reality, what for us is true to us, because it stays solid, it stays firm, although it's not firm. to us it's firm. It's like got a kind of stickiness because it's gone into our memory and it's stuck. So our reality is, we perceive our own reality as being very solid, when in fact nothing is solid. Everything is made of energy. So I'm trying to attempt to talk a little bit more from my own personal kind of heart. This is my part of this video. This is what I get from this video. I know what I know. I'm trying to pass it through the screen and see if I can get my ideas across to you, so you can catch them and pick them up and use them how you feel is right. So much is going to get lost in this translation from me to you. And I'll watch this video back and I'll see it and I'll think, oh yeah, there's loads of things that don't come across well there. There's loads of things, but at the end of the day, it's been done. And that's probably one of the first important points to look at, is that it's done. It's very easy to criticise and it's very easy to judge something. But it's a lot more difficult to actually make it and present it yourself. But it's good that it's easy to judge. We should judge, but we shouldn't come to assumptions or conclusions of solidity where we say, oh, I don't like that, or I do like that, and then block ourselves with that thought. It should be more like a kind of floating evaluation of probabilities in life. Does that seem to work with me? Does that seem to work with me? And to build those things from your own heart. So you build in your own belief systems and your own lifestyle and your own film, if you like, of the day. And you build in it yourself. Okay, so where was I? Reality. Reality. People say reality is that what you can touch, that's what's solid. Yeah. But as quantum physics is Sean already explained, everything is made of energy. So what we experience as rational reality, solid, the everyday reality, say, that what most people understand is the waking world. The one that when we knock into it that it hurts our hand. The lower frequency reality. Lower frequency doesn't mean to say better or worse frequency, it's just a more solid frequency. And so all of us really, sometimes get kind of fixed in this idea that everything is made of solid. And it's good that we think that, because otherwise we'd get ever so confused all day, go, oh well, you know, whoa, I'm going to collide. So we've got this basic instinctual understanding of what a solid universe is. It's like we know when we look down a mountain, we're going to look down and see we're going to fall and die. So it's very important that we instinctually understand the laws of energy and physics, which we do. We kind of understand gravity, we understand a lot of things. Yeah, so we have this reality, and half of it, say, is man-made. It's a man-made reality. There's houses, and there's streets, and there's cars, and there's clothes, and there's entertainment, there's television, there's technology. This is all man-made. Most of which in modern day times is most of our reality. Most people spend 90% of the time in a room, and if you was to look around the room, that the only living or growing things would be plants, animals and other people, and maybe any kind of insects or like rot. Yeah. We sit in a car and we go to work, and it's all not reality, it's all unreal. And it's a very difficult concept to actually grasp. Because that's what we were born into. Probably you as well. Born into this civilization. This domestic society of survival through dependency on technology and government and money. And so you talk to people, let's take money for a good example. It's a fantastic example. Money has no real value. Money is a piece of paper with a number on, and the number obviously says how much something is worth, but the money itself is only kind of a reminder, piece of reminder paper to say, you know, it was. I could equally say, well, you owe me $10 and he owes me $10, and we'll swap something else, and then it's fine. We don't need the paper money. I don't need to give him 10, and it's a transaction paper, as you know. I don't need to go into detail with that one. So money isn't real, okay, and it has a leverage and it is an energy. So we make it real. It's made real by majority because it's an idea that's everybody's taken on board and is practicing. Then it gives it a structure, and money becomes real through majority by popularity. If people didn't use money, then it wouldn't exist, if you understand. So money is an idea. Money is therefore not reality. It's a part of our reality, our individual reality. It's a part of yours and part of mine separately. But we still need money. Why do we need money? Because we need to trade with people. And as long as that person or that person has no leverage or understanding for another way of money, then that's what you're going to have to use. There's just no way of avoiding it until it's like not popular anymore. So money is like kind of then a game from my point of view. Money is a game. Why is it a game? Because it's a score. You know, if I'm a rich person, I've got like 3 million. If I'm a poor person, I've got nothing. These days rich people have got massive debts, but they're still called rich because they've got bigger assets and more property and more leverage and more power. But at the end of the day, it's like a score. It's like, how much have you got, how much have I got? A lot of it's done through like people climbing on each other's shoulders trying to get to the top and earn as much money as they can so they've got security in life, which is all an illusion. There is no security in life through money or through anything. And although money can buy you a certain amount of release or help, it's only a trading object. So we have this system. We live in this system, and it teaches us everything we know. I and you are products of this system, of the school system. They say we have 10 fingers. As a guitar player, I have 4 fingers on my left hand and 4 on my right hand. I have 2 thumbs. Okay? And we always say, we count to 10 because we have 10 fingers. Well, no, because there's only 9 numbers. 0, 9 in that case. So there's a finger missing. Okay, you could say we count to 10, but that's not how it works. It works like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Get the idea? 30, 31, 41, 50. So you can count all the way up to 91, 1, 2, 3, 4, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. So I can count to 99 on my fingers and not 10. Okay? We've got 9 numbers, not 10 numbers, the way I see it. And so society teaches you to count in tens, but if you go back a little while, you realise that counting in 12s makes also a lot of sense. In fact, more. Why? Very easy. If you take 10, you can only divide it by 2 and 5. You've got 2 options. 2 times 5 or 5 times 2 is 10. With 12, you can divide 12 by 2, 3, 4, 6. You see, if you take a cake, Grandma bakes a cake, what do you cut it into? You don't cut it into 5, you don't cut it into 10. It's impossible to cut a cake into 5. Okay? So you got this cake, you cut it in half, half, half. You've got 8 pieces, or 6 pieces, or 12 pieces. That's the way a clock's made. So we're counting in 12s in society. We've got a dozen eggs. A dozen is 12. What else we got? Yeah, the clock. We've got feet and inches, the old way of measuring. So you see, since like Nelson's handwriting and all this like new change in the way of writing in the schools, they change ideas. Like suddenly you're not thinking in 12s anymore. 12, you've got a fantastic ability of dividing by 3. Yeah, you can divide by 3, or divide by 4, or divide by 6. Or 2. It's very easy. But with 10, it's like you've got like this limitation. You've got 2 missing. And so over time, through just having 10 fingers, even though we've only got 8, we start to, it goes in our psychological pattern. And we need to realise that 10 isn't wrong. But you can check this out. I mean, there's different bases. For example, binary is like noughts and ones, and then there's all numbers. Hexadecimal, which goes up to 16. The Mayans used to use 12s or 13s and 20 and 60. And 60 is a very good round number because everything fits into it. So you see, society or the system or the domestic realm says to us, count to 10, count to 10. And okay, we can count to 10, but that only really follows the monetary system. That pulls us right back into the monetary system. We haven't got the ability to think in circles. We haven't got the ability to like divide by 3. It makes life very, very difficult. And we take it as for granted that it's the way it is. Now if you look at life and look at the society as if like 50% of everything is wrong, or a lie, or a misconception, and 50% is true. Okay, this leaves you a small dilemma, because like if you disbelieve everything, then that what true is becomes false, and that what becomes false becomes true. But if you believe everything, that what's true is true, and that what's false remains false. You see where I'm getting? So it's a very easy choice to say, oh yeah, I believe everything, because you get half of it right. And if you don't believe in anything, you'll get half of it right. If you can follow that. So the idea is, can you make the probability of you being right more? So like 70% rather than 50%. So for example, a very simple example, you was like throwing a coin and guessing heads or tails. Normally you would get 50-50 roundabout on a normal day. And so, but if you could guess through a kind of intuition or magic what that coin would be, could you raise that to 75%? Well, there's a lot of various techniques been tested, and you can check out some people on the in books and on the internet, and about like these fields, and there are techniques, and it has been proven possible to raise this potential to 70% or 80%. This is the realm we're talking about. I mean, if we just say, oh yeah, I believe everything, and go along with what everybody else believes in, then it's like you're going to have the least path, you're going to have the path of least resistance as a colony or a herd, like of sheep. You know, the sheep follow each other. The best option for a no-brainer is to follow the other sheep. If you don't know what to do, join the crowd kind of attitude and do what the others do. I mean, there is a certain sense in that, but there's a massive danger in that. So it's about knowing when to choose what, when to see something as a lie or to see something as a truth. The only way to see something as a lie really is to find out what the truth could be, and vice versa. So take the tens, you know, we've got 10, great system. 12, okay, I can use both. I don't need to necessarily make a conclusion on anything, I leave it on probabilities. So if something comes at me, I then redecide based on probabilities. Are we working with like the 10 virus, or are we working with the 12 virus? What's the deal? And not like, oh, I've got my way of like mentally getting through life rationally through this solid world. So this is where we come to magic, really, because like, you know, magic, people always think magic is like something special, like spiritualism and stuff. But in actual fact, it's all here. It's not like above there or across there or down there. You know, those of you who believe in a God, there's something there, but it's a limiting. If you start thinking of some like saviour hanging there in the sky in his favourite chair, whatever, it's quite limiting. And so I find that it's easy to have the chair inside here, right in the middle, and allow ourselves to be God. Each one for ourselves, because God is in everything. God is everything, if you like. If you use the word God or Allah or the universe, I like the word cosmos. Just because the word's just misused, you know, the word's just misused. I don't like to use misused words just willy-nilly. So magic is, I guess it's a human ability. And really what I see magic as is everybody's using magic. This is a magical realm. As soon as we begin to use any kind of hidden energy and we have control over that cause and effect, then we are using magic. These words that are coming out of my mouth, it's sound, it's lip movement, it's my thoughts going into like symbolics and icons that have been learned through the ages, through school, and developed by different countries in the form of language. It comes out as sound vibrations, it comes into the microphone, it goes into the circuitry, it gets stored and then replayed on your device, and then comes out of your speakers into your ears, converts back into translation into language patterns, which go into your brain, into your filters of where you learnt, what you learnt from where, and then goes back into a sentence. So you're hearing something different than I'm hearing, and you're thinking something different than I'm thinking, even though we've got this connection now. Which means your reality is not my reality. And so there is not one reality. And so therefore, my reality is an unreality for you. You can only take it into consideration how I feel or what I think. And that what you pick up on is a part of your reality then. Actual or physical or in any realm, it's still your thing. So let's take magic in words. There's a lot of magic in art and in culture, the way we style our hair, the way we move our hands, the way we think, the cause and effect of the unseen. Take it, little Johnny wakes up in a bad mood, goes down and then like speaks to his mother in a bad way, and she's then upset, and she then speaks to the next person in a bad way. It's like a bad spell. It's bad magic. You know, if you think magic is more than that, then you've got the wrong idea of magic, really, because it's all happening in this realm, quite mundane but quite strange. So little Johnny, if that was his intention, to set off a bad mood like spell, then he did a good job. But usually what happens is he's just connected to the reptilian part of his brain or his ego, and like just let off the flames in words without thinking, without reconstructing and analysing himself, with no self-consciousness, just simply spitting out words of fire. Now that has a massive effect on daily occurrences in reality, in everybody's reality. It's in the shared parts and in the individual parts, if you like. Because what happens then is, like, because the mother's like then fed up and upset, she's having a bad day, the food doesn't taste so good, and she misses an appointment at the hairdresser's, that causes a ripple effect, massive ripple effect, and it goes out like it spreads like fire. Until at the end of the day, everyone's in a bad mood, everyone goes to bed, sleeps it off, and has another go the next day. And you can see how this society's like got into a kind of like a mundane like self-suppression, in order so that we don't upset anybody else. We just don't say anything, and we just remove ourselves from being real. We just turn on our minds and just say what's necessary. So if little Johnny woke up and he thought to himself, right, okay, I'm responsible for my actions, my environment. I'm the gardener of my world. My reality is mine. So I'm going to garden it. I'm not going to just stand on the roses. I'm going to water it with love. So he gets up in a bad mood, and then he decides, well, okay, I'm not going to let this bad mood get the better of me. Breathes in and out a couple of times, and then goes down to his mother and tells her how he feels, that he's in a bad mood, but he's trying to buck up. She'll be then like more sympathetic and help him, and she'll feel good that he's then happier, and she's happier now, and she feels stronger because she's like made someone happy. So when she makes a phone call or goes to the hairdressers, she's there on time because she's buzzing to and then she talks to the hairdressers and makes them feel better, and everybody's feeling better, and at the end of the day everybody's better. If you don't call that magic, then you know, I don't know what you're looking for. Do you want to make like glasses raised above the table, or you know, maybe you do. Doesn't interest me. Okay, it interests me, but in a different way. I'm not like seeking to like make the paranormal occur, because it's you know, you don't need it. You know, if you want to travel across the plains of outer space, then you don't need to take your body with you. So you can do it inside your own reality, in your own mind. But that's a different thing. So the reality that we're living in is a magical one. Each person has their own magical reality. So your magical reality is become very grey and mundane, and there's a lot of little magic that you can do to break that back out again. One simple thing is just to simply look at things and give them the wrong names, like say, my hair is blue, my hand is green, and then you start to see, no, it's not green, it's like white, pink. You know, my hair's not blue, it's like red. So then suddenly you notice how like everything is becoming more saturated in colour, when in actual fact it isn't. It's just in your mind, or in your brain, in your senses, that what you pick up, in your perception, in your awareness. Your awareness is focusing the perception upon the things, to find the detail, to find the colour, to find the aspects. So the world can become a colourful space. The world can sound wonderful. You can hear the sound. Listen to the sound as I move around the room. It changes. It changes. The sound changes. As you can see, I'm walking. So as you can see, you've got the perceptions. You've got vision. You've got hearing, taste, and smell, and touch on your skin. Each skin. Each hair, each bit of skin's got thousands and thousands and thousands of sensors on it. You can feel when a tiny insect's crawling across your skin, and it's all across your body. And as soon as you then like feel, there's a fly on my knee, or there's a mosquito on my elbow, then your awareness beams there. Suddenly you are in your elbow, or you are in your foot. You know, this is my hand, so I can put my awareness in my hand, so that like I'm concentrating on the feelings in my hand, I'm concentrating on the motorical side of it, and the muscular, and I'm concentrating on the hand, and I'm in that hand. But I keep zooming backwards and forwards to the speech. Now you see my hands stop because I'm concentrated with talking to you. I'll go back to the hand. The more I concentrate on the hand, the more the speech gets broken. And so I can change my awareness from one hand to the other. Yeah, so I'm in my left hand. You see my speech is going. So then, as you can see, so the awareness is here. I'm here. Now I'm here. I'm here. Now I'm here. I'm back in. It's a silly demonstration, I know. So the thing is like, you are not your thought, and you are not your emotions, and you are not your body. You know them all. You're mates, you're friends with them all. You're friends with those parts. You're friends with these different parts. So your sensory, your feelings. You beam yourself in there. Obviously, if something like hurts me, or if there's something loud behind me here, then my ears send these alarm signal to my awareness and say, hey, awareness, awareness, be aware. Be conscious of that what is creating a distraction. So the ability to recognize distractions is to be more conscious of the world around. Like the focus of the vision, can you see just me? Oops. Can you see just me in my eyes? And yeah, I forgot what I'm going to say now. Eyes. It's a very optical world these days. Where we look seems to be where our awareness is going a lot of the time. Obviously, when something makes a noise, it's the alarm signal, then we turn around to look at that, to get the optical side of the sense. Or if something stings our arm, we look at our arm, or look at the elbow to see if something's there. So the the optical thing actually doesn't really jump in first. You know, you can see there's movement, and the eye is attracted to movement and change, but the eye is quite lazy really, and it follows more the hearing. If you wear something, you look across and you've got it with your eye, you know, and then your brain starts to work on a solution, a survival tactic. What's happening, think. Your eyes connected quite closely to your brain, and also to your solar plexus, where you're like your fear and your stomach, yeah, your center. And so if you are fixed in your eyeballs, kind of thing, you have this feeling that you have full control, probably because your eyeballs are the things that can move independently. And your head is like a secondary sort of thing that assists. It's like all aiming towards the eyeballs. The whole body's kind of like, you know, everything. The eyeballs always get like the main place, the main sort of like seat in the opera. But in actual fact, you know, it's in our middle here. It's in the centre of us, between our feet and our head, that is the real seating place for our awareness in its centerness. This means when we're observing, we're very much on an optical level, and this optical level is very much connected to our free will, which means when we're focused on something and fixed on it, then that's where our will is going. That it's then concentrated on that point. And the will is fixed, it's not ready to change then. And the eyes are there, and the brain begins to take the optical images and convert them. There's a lot of work for the brain to do with the optics, because of the way the eye focuses and doesn't see everything, and it has to fill in the blanks with an appropriate, approximate projection that works for your brain. So basically we're making all this space up. It's much better for movement than it is for like detail. So that like if we see something in the corner of our eye, we turn and focus on it with the middle of our eye. When we read a book or watch television, it's very like pinpoint. The place we're looking at is very pinpoint, and the eyes are almost kind of like prisoned or fixed to the medium. Like you're fixed to the TV now. And as you fix your eyes to the television, you become more and more connected. And if I don't give you enough time to think for yourselves, then this information is just going to go straight into your brain, and then it's going to do stuff because you haven't got time to really think it over. It's in there. The words are like opening like flowers or weeds, and having an effect on your whole system. So maybe you're getting angry, or like, you know, or like laughing and thinking, oh yeah, you know, what an idiot standing there on screen jigging around, talking waffle. But as you know, it's not waffle if you hear it properly. It's you that's waffling it if it's waffle. And that's the thing, is like, take television. You've got this screen then suddenly, and then everything that's coming out of this screen is like tempting you. It knows what you like. It's been bringing you up. It's brought you into the world. It's made the rules. It knows the laws. It knows the loopholes. So this screen, this television set, is using all of the best, newest tricks to change your reality, to make your world their design. which means I say 10 fingers, we've got 10 fingers. 26 letters in the alphabet, we've got 26 letters. But there's lots of languages, lots of cultures on this earth, lots of knowledge, lots of numbers, lots of things. And we think so much in our tiny box. Obviously our brains are not big enough to like consume so much information. But the actual blocking out of possibilities is our own downfall. That's one of the things that makes it difficult. And why do we do that? You know, I think it's mainly because we like to be cocksure of ourselves. We like to know our stuff. We like to be like positive and successful and you know, right. We need to like be the mastermind. You know, my whoa. You know, and it's either, you know, it's the big sex drive or it's the big mind blower. You know, but there's very little here in between, sort of like, you know, from solar plexus and breast, heart. And so we're sat watching this TV screen, and our eyes have got not like this 360-degree focus span. They've got sort of like just a couple of millimeters, and it's usually this bit here that you're focusing at through the main time. And so you're not actually moving your eyes. You think you're moving your eyes as the scenes change, but I've got you completely under my control at that point. All I need to do then is to not upset you and not knock you offline. So as long as I show you a few naked women or a few sexy blokes every now and again, in walking past in the background or something, then you'll keep your interest. And as long as I've got your interest, I've got you. And that's how the media works, you see. And the other thing is, like, it doesn't really necessarily have to lie to you. It knows how stupid you are. So it knows how clever you are. You know, for those of you who don't like to have like the half full of water glass and half empty thing. Anyway, it knows you. And it knows how to program you, and it's been programming us all for years. Just little bit by little bit, little bit by little bit. Scenes getting faster, changes getting faster, adverts getting riskier. Sex and violence pushing out the levels of nouveau just a little bit more in different cultures. One culture there, this, that going on. Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood. And largely, it's like an automatic system that's rolling on its own snowball effect. But there are people in the world who know about this, who know about the power of the spoken word, know about the power of the visual medium. And these people know that other people don't believe it, even if they was to say that it was all fake. In fact, they tell you that it's all fake. But the thing is that they make it so clever that you fool yourself. They make us fool ourselves. You know? So let's take an advert, like a toothpaste advert or something. You know, they're telling you what's good about it, and they're telling you what is great, and it's all white, and it's like, whoa, it kills bacteria, it does this, and it's whiter, and that, and tests. Nowhere on that thing does it tell you the negative effects, because nobody really needed that. Or the minority, the majority are just happy to know with, oh, what's good about it, because let's not get into our weaknesses. You know, we're all like stars here, we're all strong, we're all got all the big checkers, we've got like, you know, the big ideas and stuff. We know where it's at. We're not for 1 minute going to give in to what we're like crap at. We're not going to tell you what our weaknesses are, because you're the enemy, or you could be. I'm the enemy to you, you're the enemy to me, so don't tell me what your weaknesses are. Well, bullshit. If I tell you what my weaknesses are, then I know how you could attack me. So you're not going to attack me like that, if you get my drift with the word attack. And so this attack's coming from television. You've got an advert. It's halfway between a film, you're watching a film, you're interested in something else, but suddenly, like halfway through, you've got this advert, and then you're looking, and it's toothpaste, and then it's like beer, and then it's cars, and then it's like shoes or shopping or whatever. If you look at all of that like little mini movies, like science fiction films, look at it like art, like unreal, then really you're not giving in to the advertisation. The thing is, you need to see it at all levels, because like if I do that, whoa, then it's different than if I do that. You know, depending on which cultures you come out of. There's different symbolics, and these symbolics go into the brain, and without your thought patterns having any kind of like activity with it, these logos are having an effect on your reality, so to speak. So if you see a circle with a line going like, you know, up that direction like that, it's like the successful power. And if it goes like that or that, you know, then it means like, you know, decay. And so these symbolics have like an instant kind of programming effect, like click and it's in. That's why a lot of these like corporate logos are very powerful logos, and a lot of them are very similar. You'll notice a lot of circles and suns and triangles and stars and stuff. Magical symbols, and there is no such thing as just black magic or just white magic. It's all mixed. Everything in life holds an equal potential to be good and bad. There's no point in kind of like trying to go to one thing because you think that it's good, and not go to another thing because you think it's bad in that way. You need to be able to like understand that everything has got both potential. I won't give any demonstrations or anything of that. Misconceptions, though, in the media can lead us into having a false reality. And so those rational people out there who say, I know what life's about because it's real, it's too upsetting to be false. Now, we're not talking about false, we're just talking about illusionary. We're talking about different to how you think it is. You know, if you've never been to Hong Kong or you've never been to West Africa, then you don't know what it's really like there. So you can't really say that it really exists in your world yet. Or if there's a language you've never even heard before or never knew existed, then how could you say that it was a real language if you didn't know it was there? If you get what I mean, you have to think of it in reverse. Look at it backwards. Before you know something exists, then does it not exist? Which means that in your reality, non-existence is also possible. Or do you include everything into your reality, even that you don't know about? But there I doubt to think, because you can't act upon that. That's no way to act, you see. There's no point in like going through life thinking that you know everything. There is a way of knowing like everything, but we won't get into that now. Eyes, yeah, you know, eyes, opticals. You know, if you look at a lot of mythology and stuff, light is got a lot to do with lies. We all think, the sun's shining and enlightenment and the angel of light coming and whatever. If you research into that, you get some nice little shocks, really, if you think that light is like you thought it was. In fact, the darkness holds a lot more kind of beauty, especially to an audio world of listening. We've been optically bombarded with stuff, and we misconceive it. So we live in like a reality that's an illusion. If that illusion is not really very good, it's like a computer operating system that's out of date for the level of processor that we've got to use, and that what we want to do and what we can do, our capabilities of the hardware. The software we're running in our minds, the kind of daily things that we think are programming ourselves and creating like viruses and viruses. And as you probably notice yourself, like the whole mental processes start to become so confused and dislocated, and some things make sense here, some things there, and some things there, but somehow it just doesn't seem to fit. And it's like a computer hard drive. It's just getting overloaded and overfull with programs that are running and things that are conflicting. We need to like then find out what reality really is. And now that after a lot of thought and a lot of reading of different books and a lot of just experiencing it too, I came to the conclusion that nature is the only reality that we can trust. You know, everybody knows a tree, and although maybe we all see a tree different or whatever, it grows on its own. It isn't a creation of man. It's a creation of a cosmical principle. I mean, you might start arguing, oh, God created the earth, whatever, but he created it with a principle, with a golden rule, so that everything thrives and grows or decays. And so this cycle, like the rain, like the clouds and the rain falling down on the mountaintops, coming through the mountains into streams, bringing life, bringing energy, the sunlight heating this up and cooling down, and these are cycles going back into the sea and then getting evaporated back in this natural cycle that's been going for millions and billions and killions and zillions of years. And so, like, if you was to look at a horse against a motorbike, you would say, oh yeah, the motorbike is the more realistic choice maybe. But if you was to look on a time span, like how long has the horse been there and how long has the car been there, and how long will the car last, then you would say the horse is more realistic. Riding around on horses is more realistic. And eating vegetables, not going to the supermarket. You know, things like supermarkets haven't been around for more than 30 years, and that's just nothing. You know, okay, there've been supermarkets for a long time, but not really that compared to the nature. But what we've got of a nature now is just literally plants and twigs and a few animals, because we've got so disconnected with nature and it's like nature's consciousness that we've got completely into our ego mind, and nature has become a totally distorted, warped thing. But nevertheless, it remains there. You can still put your arms around a tree. You still drink water. We still rely on all of these things. Without water, without food, without air, without the earth and without the fire, we wouldn't be able to exist, even in our little rooms, which are made of natural products, but refined or modified in a human way. So we're losing more and more this organic connection to life. And this is the major point, really. And it seems often when people ask me about spirituality and stuff, magic and being able to use special abilities, I really apply to the planet Earth, Mother Earth, and the nature and Father Nature. And that is like a big source of energy and information. To be able to reconnect to nature and feel those energies. Let's start with good old, age old, coming through mountains, flowing water. Now water, before you drink though, it's a good idea to say thanks, or to be thankful, just thanks to the water. Give it a little smile, be happy with the water. Water's really good. If we look at the elements, we've got earth, wind, water and fire. There's a fifth element as well, the ether or idea or whatever. But let's just look at these four. Water. Water, it's like it stores information. It's like got the ability to store information, and it's been researched, and there's a lot of like proof in that area that it's scientifically also true, so they give it the thumbs up kind of thing. So if I speak into the water, what I speak, not necessarily the sound of the words, but the energy that I create while saying that, because my entire system gets the word as well. So if I say thanks or thank you, then my whole system gets like kind of that thank you, and it puts it out electromagnetically into the water, probably also through the mind and stuff, like some electromagnetic coil into the water. And the water is alive, it's a part of the cosmic thing, and it's, you know, it's amazingly see-through. I mean, when I was younger, I always thought water was like kind of boring. And now I think it's just the most magical liquid, the most magical thing that there is, and it flows, and it makes us what we are. Our blood is made up of 80% water, I think, and our body's like 60% water, something like that. I mean, we need water, even if it's just from the air. We collect water, but we definitely need. So I really think that having a kind of relationship with water as a secret friend, the alien, you know, sing to the water, you know, la 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 la, in a low voice as well if you want. And I'm having fun, but it's kind of like a serious fun, you know, like people always think, I'm not doing that, yeah, it's stupid and that. And that's exactly where the magic doesn't work. It's so simple. It's so simple. It's like inhibitions. If you're inhibited to sing to a glass of water, or even just in your mind, imagine the process. If you're too inhibited to think that, then that's where the magic, or where the whole thing doesn't work. It just becomes then the opposite. It becomes unthankful, and it fills your system full of the same as what you thought it with. So you might say, oh yeah, you know, that's a load of bullshit. That doesn't really, it's not really true. Well, I can't prove it, except it works for me. If I sing to my water and I'm thankful, and if I want to have some good ideas, or I like to have a good melody, and I ask the water, or I thank the water for that, what I put into it, and I drink it, and I drink it very aware, so I'm concentrating on the water going down my throat and on my tongue and how it feels, and just that focusing the perception, and not having this constant inner chitter of like, oh yeah, it's water, it's boring, yeah, I'd rather have I'd rather have like a cola or whatever. No, you know, you've got to turn all that off, and even if that's just by ultra perception, just taking all of your awareness, so there's not enough awareness left for conscious thought, and then you just saying thank you and you're drinking it, and it's great. And then you may say, it doesn't work. But you've got no to lose, except you might get embarrassed at yourself or someone else, you know. And if you're not man enough or whatever to take that, you know, the embarrassment factor, you know, then that is the problem in life anyway. That is probably your main blockage. You know, I know that from myself, and I know it from most people. Is like somewhere along the line there's like this embarrassment level that stops the magic working. Water's just fantastic. Check out water, check out how to filter it and energize it and bring it back to its natural living state. If you can drink like fresh water from a spring, or there are some good tap waters and there are some good bottles of waters. Make sure there's no like chemicals or additives or stuff in it. Bubbles are not too good either. And fluoride is absolutely not the thing you want to be taking in anything. You know, we're talking nature here, so if you just like ask the nature at the same time as you like, you know, ask the doctor, he may say one thing, but if if it doesn't make sense to you in a natural sense, then think again. You know, water, fresh, it's probably got living things in it, but I'm living and we're all in this together. So yeah. That's water. Why the elements? Well, I decided to choose the elements because it seemed very much symbolistic for my, like, I needed something very quick and very dynamic, and something very trustworthy, and something that connects to everything that I've researched. And it's the elements. It's the earth, wind, water, fire, and idea. Okay, a lot of people don't understand idea or ether. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is that we understand that the world is not thought. Thought is a part of the world we live, but it's only a part of it. So ether or idea, it kind of defines and breaks us free from that idea, from that notion that everything's about the mind. The mind is like a computer, it's like a tool, it's like a logical calculator. It does a lot of work and it does a lot of things, but it's not to be overestimated. And it's not the master of us. So we have the natural elements, like I say, the 5 elements, say. Some people say the 5th element is love. Doesn't matter, as long as like we see the other 4, then the 5th one we can really look at separately. So we have the water energy, and the water energy for me is a really fascinating energy because of the way it's like it multiplies this information, and it flows into this big sea of awareness, if you like. The way it flows, it's loving, it's there. And then there's air, and air is related to as thought. Thoughts are like they eliminate. They work on a process of elimination rather than a process of like, because obviously the conscious mind has its data, and it's easier to eliminate thoughts than it is to build a thought that's not known. So obviously faced with this like this information, when we have a situation and our mind begins to think, it has the information at hand, and then it starts to strip away options that it doesn't want. So the mind, the thoughts, the reason tends to work in this way of process of elimination. Like, Often a thought pattern of why somebody's a good person is for all of the things that they do not, if you know what I mean. So he's not bad. He doesn't steal. He doesn't whatever. All of these like process of eliminations. He's not dangerous. He's not. So there's a lot of nots in the brain, rather than instantly like thinking of reasons why somebody's likable. Obviously those reasons come in, but the things that are already, it's like a process of elimination in reverse. And so that's a negative factor. The earth being a positive factor is like simply when you add to it, it adds, it keeps adding up and adding up. So if you keep eating, you become fatter. If you don't like expel any of that energy or any of that substance from your body. So the body has been earth, and water is like the heart here, and air is, oops, yeah, that's microphone, the heart. The air is like thought, and then we have the fire, the solar plexus, which sort of sits like in the stomach, really. And that's kind of our fire, our inner flame of destiny, if you like, our passion, that what we really desire. That's where our centre of will comes from. If we really want or don't want something, then we often feel it in the stomach more than anything else. Emotional things come up through the water feeling in the heart, but definitely things that like make us excited, we feel in the stomach. It's a very, you know, the food comes in and it gets burned in the stomach. It's in the gut. It's a gut feeling. It's in the language. And it's a fire, and we make these gut decisions. Yeah, gut decisions from the gut. And it's the fire energy. It's the liquid fire that dissolves the food into matter that goes down into the earth. It's a division symbol. It divides things. It's like a flame that divides the matter. And that's the kind of spread that it has when it sets fire to desire. That's where the will sits. Because it's fire, and because eyes are also based on this photo-optical system, the eyes are like connected to the stomach in this way. So what you see often shoots directly down into the stomach, past the heart, and has an effect. So these are like ways of thinking about the human body as like air, water, fire, and earth down below to the feet, which is then planetary earth. And then we have above the air, not the air, the air is here, we have then like infinity spreading off above. If we can consciously connect to these four parts of our body, constantly send our awareness to these parts of the body and say, okay, in a situation, no matter what it is, we can do it in a training situation, to then analyse these four parts of our body in that situation. So the conflict or the situation comes to us, and then suddenly we can feel something. It's in the stomach. I'm angry. So it's like a radar, or you can feel something and it comes through the heart. It's like a saddening feeling or a happy feeling. And analyse these different energy points in your body. Start with the four. It's very easy. The way I see it, the fifth is like very centered. It's like your soul. It's often the word heart implicates the center, whereas the heart is really the blood pump in our body, which I see as being like connected to the water. And it's definitely in the center. And so if we focus our awareness in the center, in our middle here, then that what we perceive is a sum total of that what is becoming from the heavens to the earth, from the earth to the heavens, and from north to south and east to west. This is where we are in our holographic or holistic realities. So what's the meaning of all this? The meaning of life, very difficult. But I know one thing. The meaning of life is to have a good life and make that others have got a good life. What is a good life? Well, I know for me what a good life is, and I know that there's things I like that others don't like, but I could leave them, or I could find a solution of how to make it work. So as long as I'm not harming anybody else, then that's a good basis. And that's where I look at it, is like not to upset anybody. You know, it's not about being just nice, but it's about like really perceiving the situation. You know, obviously, like the situations where you've got to be cruel to be kind or whatever, but it's not really an intention. You just know, you can feel it. You can feel it properly through your center. It's not like a made-up mechanism from thought and all dislodged and stuff. And so when you start like moving your awareness into your center here and allowing the thoughts to just do themselves, like a computer in the next room that's going to deliver the results as soon as they've been processed, and any warnings in the logic are going to come up onto the main screen. So any kind of warning signs from any of the senses or any chakras or areas of the body are going to come in as warnings. So we can trust the nervous system in that way, that we don't need to be constantly like thinking of the next situation or constantly like kung fu ready for the world, because if we're centered and if we're like not badly programmed, and if we slowly then let our programming go back to a natural status, then and we remain in our center from a perception point of view, then anything that happens we're going to be ready for much quicker, because we've got a much better image of what's happening. We're listening, we're sensing, we're feeling with everything, with all parts of our understanding. We can understand with the stomach what somebody else is feeling. We don't have to think to myself, oh, I'm angry because this person's angry. What I'm getting in my stomach is his feeling, because his aura or his energy field is crossing over mine, and the point in me that picks up these signals is my solar plexus, making me feel angry. So then I recognise that it's not me who's angry, it's him who's angry, and I'm just picking up on it. Just like you could pick up on my anger on this video, or go back to the kind of it instantly comes across. But the fact is you don't need to mirror it. You don't need to think that it's your own. It's like your world anyway. So that what's coming in is obviously going to come in your solar plexus or in your heart, or there's going to be information that gets your head, or the sexual area, which is like, you know, a very taboo issue. But obviously if there's various sexual things going on in the environment, which there always is, then there's a lot going on there and a lot of room for embarrassment. And we need to try and find ways of removing ourselves away from embarrassment and shame. Shame and embarrassment are like the things that really do us in. And often it's like what creates embarrassment is like, what do I think he thinks about me? Or what do I think she thinks about me? What do you think about me? But really it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think about me. It doesn't really matter what you think. It matters to me what you feel or how you feel. But it doesn't matter to me, or it shouldn't matter to me what you think of me. That's my difficulty then. What I think of me is what I've got to live with. How I feel is what I've got to live with. But how you feel is the important thing. If you think I'm stupid, but you feel great, then I'm happy that you feel great. If I think you're in danger by what you're feeling, then maybe I'll do something to counteract that effect. Either tell you straight to your face, or if you don't listen, then I'll maybe like deviate or whatever. But I'm not going to manipulate. Everybody's got free will, and that's the point. Isn't like there's things that you can't tell people because they don't understand. So it's a self-made secret. So you can't say to somebody, "Oh, now I'm going to ask you very kindly to leave." But it's much better just to say to that person, "I'd like to ask you to leave," rather than to bad vibe them and stuff. And so this is what's going on, is that if you think it in your head and you run through a few scenarios of why you're intending to do what you're doing, then you'll find out that if you just click it all back and ignore what other people think of you, then you get your own code of honor, how you would like to be treated. You should treat others the same. We should respect and honor life. We don't need to be polite, but we need to be good in our manner. We need to do our best. We don't need to put on a false mask of being some bad guy because we need to be provocative. Provocation is naturally in there. There's no rules. I'm not saying you shouldn't be or be so or so, but know one thing, it does make a lot more sense to be happy more of the time, and it does make sense to make others happy more of the time. But I'm not talking about just bowing down to other people's whims and talking to them softly. I'm talking about in your world, how is it going to work? Or are you just going to try and get around everything all the time, just make a compromise to get past it? And life's not really about sacrifice. So if you can remove all of that kind of self-victimization thing, then you can risk being a little bit open with people and stuff. So the meaning of life is really about just what you always thought it was. That wonderful childish feeling. Feeling as graceful as a woman, and yet feeling as strong as a man, and having all of these elements in oneself. And it sounds all like willy-nilly, but the results are your own personal results. What other people will see is how well you do things and stuff. But if you keep going back into the silence, even if it's just briefly, back into your center, no type of weird meditation stuff, just stop the chitter in your head. And if you can't stop it, just let it just go. Just let it chitter and chatter and chatter and chitter until it's gone. And it won't be gone. It'll just be like cars on a highway, and that'll just turn into a sea of noise. And then suddenly you realise you're on your own. And then if you can realise that you're alone, all one with everything, you are then suddenly online. So you're cosmically online. Then you're there. You're fully in the real, true place. How you perceive that is then subjective, but you know that now. You knew that then, and so you keep discovering things like an onion peeling off one layer, and you think you got it, then you realise you haven't. You cry, you pull off another layer, keeps going and going and going. But sometime you realise it's an onion. You realise the process itself. So then you're able to access. The human person sleeps and dreams. I think it's quite phenomenal that a person can remain in one place for so long and disappear off to such wide realms. Some people boast that they don't dream. Some people boast that they do dream. But this is a realm where we just don't feel that we're here. And so many rational people talk to me about reality. And really it's all idea. It's all a realm of ether. It's all connected. And there's a lot... we can understand how a radio transmitter works. You know, it sends and receives images. It's just the same. We don't see the images flying through the air. We don't hear the radio coming out of the air. We hear it as after it's been decoded by the perceiver, or by the receiver in that case. So that's really the main thing, you know, the main exercise is to be aware of where your eyes are looking, to turn off the inner dialogue, turn off the chitter chatter in your head. And if you can't do that, make a running commentary of the things you're looking at. Write poetry with your thought. So I'm looking at this camera, and I'm looking at the lens, and I imagine, and my imaginings become what I imagine, because I enter the realm of my imaginings through the eye of this lens. I see you now, through time, through space. Each eventuality, each moment, each understanding and misunderstanding, each gaze. I can feel you smiling. I know what you're thinking. Because we are all one. Yeah, okay, enough of that. You know, you've got to allow yourself to be a little bit weird, you know. You're going to have to build your own religion, or whatever you want to call it. And that's really how to make headway, is to build your own religion, and build a good one. And build one that's yours, that's special to you. You know, make some like little ceremonies of your own, some like little things that you do, you know, like things that you say to your water. Obviously, you know, next time you're gonna like get your water, you might think of me and think, no, I don't want to think of him every time that I have a glass of water. Well, don't worry, there's millions of people and loads of sources of information, so go and have a look at the information, and then you'll have millions of names, and you'll realise. Cheers. So I guess we're coming to the end of this tape, and I've got no monitor of when it is. So I've got no countdown to the wording I use. So it's kind of like a mental zap through the last hour and a half. Have I covered all the points? I did actually make a list here. Tools, yeah, tools. Just a bit about tools. What's down there as well? Tools. You know, whatever we use, like, we become that tool. If we use a tool, then we become dependent on that. I noticed this through shoes. Through not wearing shoes, that I become dependent on wearing shoes, because my feet were hurting when I first started walking without shoes, barefoot. After a while I noticed that I started walking differently, because I had to, because there was no cushioning under my heel. I had to develop a new way of walking, and indeed I managed to do that. And the result was finding that I'm more walking like an animal. On my toes, on my foot. And my sole's touching the ground, feeling the earth. It's a wonderful texture, it's a wonderful feeling, it's very earthing. And that's really one of my own personal main aims, is to try and get back to the nature, to try and find the secret key. And from my own experiences, it's about doing what you know is right. Obviously there's loads of times where we think, oh yeah, I should give this up, or stop smoking, or stop drinking, stop eating too much. Well, if you're not going to do it, then don't stop doing it. Give up giving up. Fact is though, is if that niggling thing don't go away, then you're better off going into a process and finding out what it is that's niggling you about it. Make a video like this, or talk about it and then rewind it and watch it again and then talk about that, what you saw, so that you're replaying and recognizing through your cognition. You're recognizing the patterns in your life. It usually comes down to things like, fear of embarrassment, fear of not being loved, and fear of being who you really are. I would say that most people are scared of the light that would shine from them, and it would be too embarrassing. They would burn up like a phoenix in the flames of their own glory, so to speak. And that's very much the case. Although after a while, the cosmic sunburn sets in, and then like the layer of the onion peels off, and then there's another layer to go with. And this is no sport, this is no game. So the quicker we let go, the easier it'll get. You can trust the cosmos, you can trust the nature, you can trust you as a part of the nature. And don't be fooled, the nature is very robust and very strong and very loving and caring, and it doesn't fear death because it knows it's a cycle. Most people I know can't remember when they were 5 years old. Most people I know can't remember even being on the planet when they were like 1 or 2 years old. Very, very few people, in fact I don't think I've met anybody who can remember the day they were born. A lot of people don't believe in life before death or after death or reincarnation, and maybe it's because those explanations are too weird, or maybe even like wrong. But imagine the ages was like a record collection on vinyl, and you knew a lot of the collection, and you was the needle. When you put the record back in the record slot, back on the shelf, it's still the record, it's still the same, but it's not being perceived, it's not being played. And so it's like you are the diamond needle, although diamonds are worthless. So, crystal, you're the crystal needle. You're the crystal perception, focusing on that one groove. And the groove has got maybe a whole orchestra and a whole choir, and it's got everything in there. And it's your garden. It's your sound garden. Garden of perceptions, whatever you want to call it. And so, like I say, we're on the record that we're on. The song that's playing is going to play. And when this song's over, the record will be changed. And it will continue. The crystal needle will play another song. And it'll be a good one. And this I see as being a future for the human race. So eventually we've got through our teething, we've got through puberty, we've got through manhood, and now we're ready to be ripe human beings, hands of Mother Earth, feet of Father Nature, all together in harmony with our ideas, with the art of life that we create, with the way we style ourselves, the way we style our lives, each to his own personal, unique, individual creation. Create your own dreams. Create your own magical reality. There is no real, maybe there is no real awakening. Maybe there's just a change of dream. The one we have now will change. Some may understand that it's a dream. Some may not. That is not necessarily the point. Not everybody needs to know everything. Because everything is known. And with intellect and with information, we're only as powerful as the information itself. And if it's a lie, then it's like a backwards firing gun. It blows up and backfires on us. So let's creatively and uniquely, individually construct natural, artistic ways and all that. You know, the tape's coming to an end and there's a little bit of flash. I keep looking to the side and you know, if I haven't edited this bit off at the end, then I just like to say thanks to everybody for your time. Although none of you should have been watching this, because this video was made purely for my own replayment and recognition. Self-consciousness. Self-consciousness. Stop thinking. Start listening. Start smelling. Feeling, touching, tasting. Close your eyes.
As the evening of another day comes and goes, I think of you. Yes, you all. I feel your presence now, even though separated through time. I feel your eternal existence. You and I belong to the same song, but we all hear a different melody. I am calling out to say to you that I need space and time to breathe, to think. I reserve the right to change my mind, for I am not a machine. I cannot fully express myself to you, and I have no justifiable reasons for all of my actions. And how about you? Do not expect anything of me. I do not want to make anybody unhappy, so the truth I speak may depend upon your pride, but that is also something I want not to hurt.